Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Iron and Lime Fitness. So today we're looking at the Kensui Sapporo Swiss Bar and then their calibrated gold plates as well. Full transparency, Kensui sent these to me for the review. No script, no required talking points, but they were sent for free, so I want to make sure that I am upfront about that as always. I looked at this as a potential opportunity to review something outside of my normal channel, normal equipment. So as always, I want to try to evaluate as much as I can for the actual home gym owner, and this is a part of it. All right, so let's get into it. First thing up that you notice is this is a chrome bar. So I'm not a chrome guy usually. It looks good. However, I remember growing up, I had a chrome curl bar that chipped a little bit. So while it does give a polished appearance from a longevity standpoint, I'm more of a stainless steel or a Cerakote guy. However, I have not used chrome in the last 20, 25 years, so potentially it's gotten better, but just be aware of it depending on your environment. It may not last as long. So chrome is fine, it works, but if you're cross-shopping in this category, just remember that it is a chrome bar. So, and it's not necessarily a deal breaker. A lot of people use chrome, just something to be aware of in the reality of materials. All right, so let's talk balance now. Um, the bar does feel handle heavy. If you notice, when I drop it, it will eventually get back to handle at the bottom. That's because all the weight's down here. So if you compare that to something like a Rogue MG4CN, where it's on both sides, it's more balanced, you'll adjust to it, right? But if you've used a traditional neutral grip or multi-grip bar, you will notice it. I noticed it right away. So not insurmountable, definitely something that you can adjust to, but just something to be aware of. On the sleeves as well, there's a little bit more play from the bushings than what I'm used to on the Rogue barbells. Not terrible, but just be aware of it. On a Swiss bar, it matters less than it would on a typical barbell. But if you're planning to do like RDLs, deadlifts, things that are going to hit the floor, that movement from the sleeves is going to cause noise. So it's not unstable. It spins smooth and well, and it's built well, but it's just looser than the typical tolerance of the Ohio bar. So just be aware of that. All right, so let's talk about the exercises and how this bar actually performs. Kensui promotes 6 movements really, so we're going to go through them here. So we have the neutral grip bench press, and it does pretty well here. You do have to grab it kind of towards the heavy end. It's stable though, it is shoulder friendly. You have those 3 different widths that you can go ahead and use, and it's a comfortable pressing position. So if you deal with shoulder irritation and straight bars kind of bother that, this absolutely gives you relief, and Kensui did a good job spacing these out. Next is the overhead press. So neutral grip overhead press, it's strong and natural, and you can kind of utilize the bar and the slight handle heavy balance. It shows up a little bit here as well too. Once you account for it though, you really are able to kind of get more over the shoulders where you want to be. Next is bent over rows. They feel controlled. The frame stays good. This is something where grip spacing is super useful, and I really enjoyed this exercise. Moving on to RDLs, you can do RDLs with it. There's some sleeve play though, so when they hit the ground, and I'll kind of turn the audio up here for that, just be aware of it, right? Not a deal breaker, and I'll kind of show you the sound with bumper plates. But just know you're not going to prepare for a normal amount of sound from a traditional power bar, if you will, from a tolerance perspective. Then we go to Shrugs. I think Shrugs is probably one of the places where this shines. The neutral grip works well, and it gives you space to kind of hang down naturally. So Shrugs are really enjoyable. Bicep curls as well. It's a little bit steeper, but you are able to kind of take it all the way down and get that full extension at the bottom. So it's joint friendly, and I really enjoyed doing that. All right, moving on to these gold plates. So these are thin calibrated steel plates, and then they have a gold finish. I think these are from the same cut as some of the other producers of these plates. So just do your shopping around. They do sit tight on the sleeves, very little lateral movement, and then they are easy to slide on. Visually, they're aggressive. If you like gold in your gym, they look really good. I'm more of a bumper plate person. I do enjoy the look of them, but they're a little bit harder to grab functionally, and then loading them, you got to watch your fingers. So if you're a power lifter and you train those movements and you really need a lot of weight on the bar and you want to maximize your sleeve space, these are incredible. And then if you primarily train with bumpers and you don't necessarily go super heavy, more than 4 bumper plates probably, I wouldn't say these are a necessity, but they are nice to have for that kind of off the ground work. All right, so the verdict. Here's the honest take. The Sapporo Bar is a functional, shoulder-friendly multi-grip option. It's not in the ultra premium specialty bar tier. The chrome finish, the kind of the handles, the looser sleeve tolerance, it reflects that. However, Kensui did a really good job with this bar, and they priced it accordingly so that you can actually, it's attainable, right? The plates as well are purpose built. If you are powerlifting, I wouldn't necessarily say they're a budget option, but they are a very classy addition. So for my gym, I'm super particular about stuff, and equipment has to integrate well. This setup's pretty understandable, especially if you want to save a little bit of money on the neutral grip stuff, and it's a legitimate option depending on your priorities and your budget. So that's what I have for it. Um, Big thing I want to say right at Iron and Lime, the gear is more about usability for the home gym and whether or not it makes sense for both people and whether it supports training over the long haul, right? So I appreciate everyone watching. If anybody has experience with the Sapporo Bar or the Kensui calibrated plates, please drop your comment. I'm curious how it holds up from a long-term use because I don't have that yet. With that, please let me know. I'm excited to hear it, and I'm going to put this into rotation for a couple weeks, and then I'll do probably an update.